Hello, welcome to the first video of Countdown to Retirement. My wife and I are retiring in June 2019, and I thought it would be fun to make videos every month, one a month until then. So this is the end of February 2016, so 40 more months. So I figure if I make one video at the end of every month, I'll have 41 videos by the end of June 2019. Both of us very much looking forward to retiring. We'll be in our 50s, our early to mid 50s. We should be okay financially, and we are looking forward to having time to ourselves and doing what we want to do. As most everybody, I'm sure, would like something like life like that. Work is, I don't know, talk about work. I'll just say I'm not thrilled with it, what I do. It's not of no personal satisfaction to myself. I don't really want to go into too many details right now. Let's just say I'm an atheist and I work in a religious place. But they know I'm an atheist. But it's just awkward for me. I've been there a long time. It's not so easy to leave. I don't really want to talk about it right now. This is kind of to help me get through the next 40 months until retirement. And also, I am not doing this on professional equipment. These videos, this is done on my Samsung tablet, my Tab 4, in my living room with my books all around me, which you can't see the other side of the wall, but basically it's a living room full of books. What I wanted to do every month is review, not necessarily in depth, but just kind of go over what books I've read and what movies I've watched. My main interest is the American West of the 1800s, history and fiction. So I read a lot about that. This year, for 2016, I decided that I would branch out a little bit. Sometimes I read atheism books, science books in the past, astronomy, but now I'm also going to read some science fiction books and even some like Raymond Chandler and some mystery novels, and just try some new things. Also, I got into movies a little bit in the last 6 months or so, like older stuff, not new stuff. I'm not really interested in going to see new movies, but older, like Humphrey Bogart movies and Marlon Brando and things from like the 40s and 50s and even a little bit after that, but just older movies. So I'm going to go over those. So what I thought is that for this first video, even though I'm going to always, the future videos will be the previous month, this is going to go a little bit into January also, and include February. And I would just go over quickly. I'm doing this, winging this, so excuse me, this is my first video doing this. A little bit taken aback. Keep thinking I should stop this, start again, but I'm just going to keep going. It's not going to be professionally edited. This is what you get. This is me. I'm going to fumble over my words, stop, look silly, scratch my nose. That's it. So let's see. So I'm going to start here with some books that I read. Like I said, I was going to do some science fiction. I had decided for this year. So this book is a book that looked very interesting. By the way, you'll notice that all my books are in like these book bags. I tend to keep all of my books really nice. So I have like broad art, clear plastic covers for my hardcovers with dust jackets, and I buy book bags for my paperbacks. So C.J. Cherryh, The Fated Sun. This is a trilogy. It's like 3 books in one. So I'm counting this as 3 books for my end of year total for how much I've read. It was reprinted as 1 book, obviously. It's very interesting. The book starts off where you're right in the alien world. No explanation. You're just there. and things are happening and you're not quite sure what's going on, and you just keep reading hoping it begins to make sense, and for the most part it does. There are humans in the book too. There's a main human character named Duncan who kind of like dances with wolves in a way, where he becomes one with the aliens. He prefers to be with them. Of course, this book was written in around 1977 or 78, so it's pre-Dances with Wolves, but it's that idea. So he goes native, and the cultures in here, the whole universe is created. It's interesting. I would have made a few little different choices, but who am I to second guess the author? Overall, I would say recommend this book, but it is long. It was like well over 900 pages, and it was very different for me. I never read anything like this before, so I can't say it's for everybody, but I did like it. Okay, my computer screen went off, so it gives me some extra light, so I got that on again. Okay, next book I read. These aren't necessarily in order. I'm just taking them as I pull them off the shelf. Genius Unlimited. This book I actually got for free. We go to a lot of bookstores, and summer trips we try to pass by bookstores, and one bookstore was giving away books, going out of business, and free books. So I took a bunch of books, and this was one of them, Genius Unlimited by John T. Philippant. This is it's kind of like pulpy. It's not something that's going to change your life by reading it. Premise was pretty good. There's a killing on a distant planet, and there's like geniuses that live there, and some they send a woman there to try to solve the problem with like two bodyguards, and the book kind of is really their story, the two bodyguards, and they're like professional soldiers, and they're supposed to protect this woman who's trying to figure out what happened, and a little bit goofy. The premise was good, but it's not high art. But there was something in the book that I wrote down because it was kind of interesting. Like, when is a gun not a gun? So I wrote it, I typed it in here. I'm going to read it and follow along. So this was on page 132 of this book. He moved his right hand smoothly and with the speed of long practice, and let her see the needle gun in his palm, watched her eyes look down and open wide. She put out her hand. May I? She took it into her grasp. This is the gun. She took it into her grasp, hefted it, seeming to taste it, in quotes. To taste it with her touch. Then she stared at him again, her blue eyes wide. But it is beautiful, she enthused. He had always thought so himself, although it hadn't been designed with that intention. You surprise me a little, he admitted. I wouldn't have expected you to use that kind of word. Beautiful. But why not? She curled her fingers around it, twisting her wrist and arm tentatively, then opened her hand again. It fits into my hand. It has natural balance. It is as natural to aim as pointing with a finger, and it has no ugly edges at all. How does it work? Simple enough, he says. I don't think that was a gun they were talking about. So if you like that kind of thing, there's some nudity in here, but that was the best part, and the book's kind of goofy. Next book I read is more in line with what I usually read about the American West. So this book is called Pemmican by Vardis Fisher. Vardis Fisher wrote Mountain Man, which is his probably most famous book, and that was made into a movie with Robert Redford, Jeremiah Johnson, based on the book Mountain Man by Vardis Fisher. And this is a nice pulpy cover. I have another one with a different cover, also very pulpish. I really like these old covers. They're really cool. This was a very good story. It's not so much the American West as much as the Canadian West, and this takes place in the early 1800s. This is a little bit after Lewis and Clark, around like 1815, something like that, and it's the Hudson Bay Company and the Northwest Company at odds with each other, fighting over territory, and there's Indians in it, and it's pretty good. I'd recommend this book if you're into that genre. Good book. So that was my reading for the end of January and through February. I'm sorry, January reading and some of February. I'm actually started some new books towards the tail end of February, but I'll talk about those next month at the end of March. So now movies. Watched a bunch of movies. Let me see here. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I don't know, like about 10 movies here. So I'm going to go over them. Again, these are movies I've seen for the first time. I've never been into movies. In no particular order. Here we go. I watched Rita Hayworth and Gilda with Glenn Ford. This movie was good. I wouldn't call it great. It's supposed to be a classic. It is really good. It's entertaining. But I thought the story was a bit odd. But good. I'll watch it again. But I wouldn't say it was great. It was just good. Unless, my standard changes or I get it more. Right now I don't really get it completely. But if I get it more, it could be great or classic. Here's something that's not an old movie that I watched. Corpse Bride. Tim Burton's Corpse Bride. I got this from my son, and I watched it too out of curiosity, and it was actually pretty good. I did like it a lot. I'd recommend this. Stop motion animation, they call it, and it was good. This movie I just watched today, The Wild Bunch, 2.5 hours. Very bloody, very graphic. I was surprised about that. I didn't know what to expect. There's no good guys in this movie. It's just, some people might look at it like as a romantic view of things. If you consider bloody being a romantic view of things, it was good. I'd watch it again. But it was graphically violent. Story was pretty good though. Acting was great. And Ernest Borgnine and William Holden, Warren Oates, Ben Johnson. This is a very good movie. 2.5 hours was kind of long. Had to take a few breaks during it. High Noon with Gary Cooper and Grace Kelly. This movie I would say was good. Again, it's classic status like Gilda, but I just thought it was good. I didn't think it was excellent. I don't have much more to say about it. It was a good movie. I'd watch it again, but it didn't blow me away. It's about a guy, sheriff, I think he was, or a marshal, and he's leaving the job, and then there's some bad guys come back to town, and so he comes back, and the shootout at the end was kind of a letdown to me. It's like this movie is kind of like a character study, but I just thought it could have been a little bit better. Again, like the shootout at the end, it just didn't live up to anything great. Not to me. This was a great movie. Marlon Brando on the waterfront. Excellent movie. If you haven't seen it, this is something I never would have watched a few years ago, and kind of got into some of these movies, like I said, the last few months, and maybe it's just with age, you just get new interest. So this is really good. Takes place in I think it was filmed in New Jersey, but it's supposed to take place in New York. Originally supposed to be taking place in Brooklyn, but they moved it. Okay, so that was very good. Recommended. While we're talking about Marlon Brando, I saw this for the first time, The Godfather. I stayed away from this movie for so many years. I don't know, something about it just scared me, like the mafia. It just didn't seem like something I'd be interested in. And great movie. Again, killing, kind of a bit bloody, kind of like the Wild Bunch, but not as bloody. That was more bloody. But this was a very good movie. Marlon Brando, he's in it at the beginning, and then he kind of disappears for a while. He's out of commission for a bit in the movie, most of the middle of it, as I recall. And James Caan is in it. It's very good. Just if you haven't seen it, be prepared. There's like people getting shot, and Al Pacino was in it, and he was very good. Actually, I didn't even recognize him when he first was on the screen, because I don't know what he looks like when he was younger, and I wasn't really familiar with the movie other than Marlon Brando being in it. So when he was in there, and on the screen, I said to my wife, "Who is that guy? Did he do anything after this?" And she says, "You idiot! It's Al Pacino. He had to be there." But it was very funny. Whether she said idiot, I don't know, but that was pretty much how she sounded. Like, you don't know that's Al Pacino? You're crazy. But he looked different to me, because, again, I'm not really into movies and movie stars, so. Okay, next movie, The Man Who Shot Liberty Valance, with John Wayne and James Stewart. This movie was pretty good. The ending, I thought, was a little bit flawed. The resolution of it at the end, so it was good, but I thought the ending could have been a little bit better. But just it wasn't that realistic to me how it played out. So that's where I stand on that one. But it was good. The Stalking Moon with Gregory Peck. This I watched at the end of January. Even Marie Saint and Gregory Peck. This is a pretty good movie. Entertaining. I'd watch that again. I'd recommend it. This movie I was really surprised by. Monte Walsh. Very good. I'd watch this again for sure. Jack Palance and Lee Marvin. Excellent. I really enjoyed it. It's not so much action. It's more like a character study, but it was very well done, and I just liked the feel of the movie, and that was very good. The Thin Man. I got this because I wanted to see the relationship between William Powell and Myrna Loy, because I love Farscape and I love the John Aaron dynamic, and I wanted to see if this was anything like that. There really wasn't much on screen between the two of them. There was a few bits, but not too much. I wasn't blown away by it. It wasn't bad. Maybe if I wasn't looking so much for the relationship between the two, I would have liked it more, but I kept waiting for more to happen between them, and it just didn't. There was some stuff, but just not a lot. But it wasn't bad. I have to give it another chance and watch it again. Not right away, but I will. This next movie here was a big surprise for me, because I didn't really know if I was going to like it or not. Not really into, well, I'm not into pool. It's fun I've only played a few times and had no idea what I was doing. There were no rules, it was just shoot the balls into the pockets. So this movie here blew me away. The Hustler with Jackie Gleason and Paul Newman. This was an awesome movie. Lots of extras also. Definitely highly recommended this movie. I would watch this again. It says here pulsing, powerful, brilliant, and it's true. It was really, really very good. Undiscovered gem for me. So, that's about it. Wow, I'm looking at the time here. It's been 19 minutes. Hope it wasn't too boring. I can't believe 19 minutes went by. So I'd like to do, one video at the end of every month. Probably should do it at the beginning of the month to review it. I just, as I'm doing this, I realized that I should do this at the beginning of every month to review what I did the last month. Or I should be reviewing all of what I did on, I don't know. I guess I did mostly February, what I watched and read for February. It's the end of February, so I think I'm okay. I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm just blabbing. Getting confused. So, that's it. Countdown to Retirement is the name of the channel. And 40 more months of work to go. I hope I get through this. I'm going to try. It's not a lot, but it feels like it while you're in it. Take care. Bye.